What is up, YouTube? It is Cart5000 here, and last time he started off, it was at Raichu. Speaking of Raichu, here are a couple facts. Some Pokédex entries state that it had 1,000 volts, could discharge 1,000 volts, that is. But Pokédex Stadium, the Stadium version, says 10,000. That was likely a mistake. Sandshrew is the first ground-type Pokemon, but if I didn't put this one in words, but if Rhydon was first, it would be second. Even though its Stadium entry implies something about it learning Bounce, I'm not going to read it to you, but it implies something about learning Bounce. It still can't learn Bounce. Mainly because it's a ground type. I wonder why that doesn't prevent Magikarp from learning Bounce. Sandslash. It's being its mouse Pokemon. It does not resemble a mouse. That was a fail. Failed. Rattata, Raticate, Raichu, Sandshrew, and Pikachu, as well as Sandslash, are all known as mouse Pokemon. Despite that, again, it doesn't resemble a mouse. Nidoran female's shiny color appears to be Nidoran male's regular color, vice versa. Nidorino, Nidoqueen, and I think Nidoking too. And even though they didn't have genders in Generation 1, Nidoran female and male were different species. Nidoran female is one of the 8 Pokemon to have a non-alphabetical character in its name. The others are Ho-Oh, Nidoran male, Farfetch'd, Porygon 2, Porygon Z, Mime Jr., and Mr. Mime. Nidoran female is the only Pokemon to lose the ability to breed after it evolves. Moving on to Nidorina. Despite being gender exclusive, they're guaranteed female. Nidorina nor Nidoqueen can breed, but its pre-evolution can. Its shiny Spite resembles the coloration of a Nidorino. Moving on to Nidoqueen. Even though it has genders, it is unable to breed. I think it's mainly because guaranteed gonna be female. No other Pokemon has the same type combination as it, or Nidoking. It's in a no age group in the games, but for some reason in the anime it was capable of breeding. Moving on to Nidoran male. In the official art, Nidoran male is colored purple, yet in the anime it is pink. About Nidorino, its shiny color is the same as Nidorina's. Nidorino and Gengar are the first Pokemon to appear in the games and the anime. Just making sure I'm not going over time. No, I'm not. Despite Nidoqueen being unable to breed, having a relation to Nidoking, Nidoking's able to. However, don't expect a Nidoran male to come out of that, unless they're breeding with a Ditto. Nidoqueen and Nidoking are the only poison and ground types. And Nidoking bears a great resemblance to Baragon, that mythical creature, apparently. I don't know, is that what they were basing it off of? I have absolutely no clue. Despite having wings, Clefairy can't learn any moves involving its wings. And it's not even flying type, so that takes that out. Clefairy was originally going to be called Area, and that was its prototype name. Like the song, Area, by Johann Sebastian Bach. Yes. You can buy the Magic Piano on the iPad. Why am I doing like a commercial here? Well, moving on. It's the only non-psychic type to learn Cosmic Power, along with Cleffa and Clefable. Originally, the Pokemon that Professor Oak was going to give Ash was a Clefairy. This means that Clefairy was going to be the face of the Pokemon franchise. This idea was later scraped at the last second for Pikachu. Pikachu was really more popular than Clefairy. In case you're wondering what that was, I think I covered this in episode 1. Pikachu is actually the most popular Pokemon of all time, with the second being Squirtle. I covered that in episode 1 if you didn't hear that. Clefairy is one of the 3 Pokemon that can learn the attack Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash. And it's the only non-steel type to learn it, because the others were, Metang and Metagross? Yes, that is true. Now moving on to Clefable, its evolved form. Its prototype name was Areola. Again, it has wings, like its pre-evolution. But it still isn't a flying type, and it still can't learn flying type moves. And that's even worse. Moving on to Vulpix. Its original name was Foxfire. And despite it knowing Energy Ball by breeding, it cannot learn it by TM, and that was a fail. This has been fixed by Black and White. Vulpix, along with its evolution, Ninetales, is the only non-ghost type to learn Roach and Will-O-Wisp by leveling up. Vulpix and Ninetales are the only non-legendary Pokemon to have the ability Drought. This ability, however, was only to be found in the Dream World. Vulpix is often considered to be Growlithe's counterpart, as they are both Fire-type Pokemon and version exclusives. Ninetales. Ninetales' tails are cursed, and pulling on one will result in getting cursed. Ninetales is based on the legendary nine-tailed fox of Japanese folklore. When it gets its ninth tail, its fur changes from dark red of a fox to white or golden, hence the color change for its evolution. Now, why don't they just call Vulpix Six Tails? Because it has 6 tails, and it evolves into Ninetales gets 9 tails. Well, the other one are rarely ever male. You put a female Ninetales in daycare with a male Pokemon that knows Energy Ball, the hatched Vulpix will know Energy Ball, even though it can't learn it by TMs. Again, that one fail. Ninetales in the GBA games did not have the orange coloring on the tip of its tails. In GBA, shiny Ninetales didn't have blue coloring on the tip of its tails, like its normal shiny coloring. It was mistakenly misspelled Ninetals with an I before the L, not an E after the L. And that was for the number of tails it possessed. This misspelling is for some reason on the trading cards, which is, again, a fail. In the Pokédex, it said one of those who grab one Ninetales' tails gets cursed for 1,000 years. That is really, really scary. And it actually says that in red and blue. If you have red and blue, look in your Pokédex entry on that. In the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, blue and red, the Gengar was originally a human that grabbed one of Ninetales' tails and was cursed into the form of a Gengar. Also, the Gengar, before it turned into Gengar, had abandoned its Gardevoir, but the Gardevoir had no grudge against him, and it loved the trainer enough to protect it from Ninetales' fury. This is why I don't play Mystery Dungeon series. It just freaking freaks me out. That game just really creeps me out. Jigglypuff. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Solid Snake says, "Jigglypuff? Is that some kind of marshmallow?" It's true. It was actually kind of funny. Jigglypuff's appearance resembles Kirby. Both of them appear in all 3 Super Smash Bros. Games. There's a running gag in the anime where Ash's friend gets sleepy whenever Jigglypuff comes in to sing. Usually the wild Jigglypuff writes ink on them because she thinks when they're asleep, they hate her. Because, it's a comedy and people are sleeping. People don't like the jokes that are being told. Jigglypuff has been in every Super Smash Bros. Game as a secret and unlockable character. Jigglypuff and Pidgeotty have the same cry, but Jigglypuff's is higher. Jigglypuff's voice is calibrated to the brainwaves of a person who is asleep. Therefore, why any person or Pokemon who hears it singing will instantly fall asleep. That one is really weird. And I give out a shout out to my friend from school for giving me that one. Jigglypuff seems to like hearing its song. Well, like people hearing its song, as depicted in the episode from the Hoenn region. It's a Poke Block Party. But it's basically like using the move Sing. It makes people fall asleep. So Jigglypuff draws on her faces for revenge. In Super Smash Bros., Jigglypuff's rest attack can be an offense move. But otherwise, it only makes it regain its health. Super Smash Bros., its final smash, it's called Puff Up. When Jigglypuff gets bigger and bigger and like an inflating balloon. However, that move never existed. Moving on to Wigglytuff, is the lightest fully evolved Pokemon, weighing in at only 26.5 pounds. How light is Igglybuff? Probably really, really, really light. Not even a pound. Wigglytuff, Jigglypuff, Igglybuff, Quillfish, and Drifloon are all known as the balloon Pokemon. Then what's Drifloon known as? In the Pokemon Green sprite for Wigglytuff, its sprite doesn't show its white belly above its mouth like many other sprites show it happening. Wigglytuff's cry is similar to Poliwhirl's. Zubat. Despite not being based on a bird, it can learn Brave Bird. Zubat and its family, along with Woobat, are all known as the Bat Pokemon. No other Pokemon have the same type combination as the Zubat family. Zubat was the final name in the alphabetical listing of Pokemon until the introduction of Weavile in Generation 5. No, not Zweilous, Weavile. Zubat is also used by every single criminal organization. Golbat. Until Generation 4, Golbat and Zubat were unable to fly, even though they had wings. It is the first Pokemon in the National Pokédex to evolve from a later generation. It evolves into Crobat, not in Generation 1. After Pokemon Yellow, its long tongue was removed. Try looking at the red and blue new sprite sometime. It's just creepy. Oddish. Oddish and Kabutops are the only 2 Pokemon known to have a scientific name. Despite burying itself underground as a Pokédex entry state, it still can't learn Dig, which is a fail. It is the first Pokemon in the order of Pokédex to have a branched evolutionary family. Gloom can evolve either into Vileplume or Blossom, actually. Some of you knew it evolved into Blossom, some of you didn't. Gloom is the only dual type one that can evolve into a single type, Blossom. A threatened Gloom or normal Gloom will give out a horrifying smell. While if a Gloom is not threatened, its scent will smell just fine. is actually now on the Vileplume. The flower on top of its head is based off of Rafflesia, the world's largest flower that is found in Asia, but smells like rotting flesh. In case you're wondering, I'm recording inside my computer room, so that's why the door is handling weird. Again, a shout out to my friend at school, Paris. It has the same cry as Mewtwo. And here, let me find its cry. Ah, here it's cry. Did you hear that? Sounds a lot like Mewtwo, but only lower. It was originally called Parasite. But moving on to Parasect. A host mushroom on its back causes its eyes to turn white due to it being in permanent possessed trance. So basically the mushroom controls it. It's possessed, we must murder it again. But its eyes are like Herobrine from Minecraft. Herobrine, Herobrine, however you pronounce that. No other Pokemon has the group combination as Paras and Parasect. Some of his Pokedex entries break the fourth wall by saying its spores can be used as a medicine in China. In Generation 1, Parasect and its pre-evolution are the only known Pokemon to have a double weakness to poison. They are a bug in grass, so I do not know. Wait, if I think correctly, I don't think bug is actually weak to poison. I think that's why, I guess that's why it's in Generation 1. Only, I guess. Because I checked it. Gold and Silver, nope. It has the same cry as Mewtwo. Again, another pitch. Venonat. In earlier Pokemon books, Venonat can fly, apparently. However, it doesn't have wings. Or, it doesn't appear to have wings. I do not. Sorry. I just whispered something really funny to me. It just sounded really, really funny. I'm sorry. But it's similar to Carablast cry. My parents have the TV up real loud, and it's commercial time, so I had to shut the door when that long silence. Venomoth. It bears striking resemblance to Batra in its adult form. In the manga, it says Venomoth does not live long like a moth. It is the first moth Pokemon, second being Dustox, third being Mothim, fourth being Volcarona. Venomoth gets its name from two words, venom and moth. Moving on to Diglett. It is revealed in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon that Diglett has feet. After being rescued from Skarmory at Mount Steel, Diglett says that his feet are still feeling like they're walking on air. Although Diglett has no arms and is underground, it can learn Aerial Ace, Cut, Hone Claws, Scratch, Shadow Claws, Sucker Punch, and for only being a head, it can learn Headbutt. If you use Seismic Toss on Diglett in Pokemon Battle Revolution, you'll not see its feet, just the dirt joints Diglett in midair. It is creepy. Dugtrio. Its name comes from Doug and Trio, to its ground type name and the fact that it has 3 different heads. Meowth. Meow. Whoa. based on meow for a cat's noise. Persian. Seeing as Meowth used to be Gianni's favorite and now has a Persian, he must favor cat-like Pokemon. Giovanni is a likely reference to a mob boss. He is seen in a suit often, has a clean haircut, and specifically Persian. Although Persian is named after the breed of cat, it doesn't share similarities with the breed of the same name. It looks largely based off a Siamese cat. And Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. Persian is Pokemon Square's Bank's owner, but was later replaced by Duskull in future Mystery Dungeon titles. Psyduck. Man. Do I have to do this one? Despite having psychic powers and his name having psychic in it, it isn't a psychic type. If Psyduck's headache becomes severe, it supposedly can use attacks that are stronger than usual. As seen in episode 32, the Ninja Poke Showdown. Golduck. Guy's actually pretty better. And despite his name, Golduck is blue instead of gold. So apparently their color should be flipped around. It's rumored that Psyduck and Golduck have their names mixed up due to the fact that Psyduck has a golden texture and Golduck looks more like a psychic Pokemon. Because if you look closely, it has that dot on its head between its eyes, like Espeon. And it's a psychic type. Come on. Despite possessing telekinesis and psychic powers, Golduck is not part psychic type either. Despite being able to use psychic powers, Golduck could not learn psychic until Generation 4, even though it was a TM. Golduck's English and Japanese names are actually the same. Mankey. Well, it is one of the few Pokemon that can learn Anger Point. Hint by naturally learning it. The rest are Dream World. Primate. It is probably named after Primate and Ape. Growlithe, finally. I was waiting for this one. Because I did not find any facts about it. Arcanine. This is another one that I have to shout out to my friend. It was the original fire legendary Pokemon of Generation 1 instead of Moltres, but the Japanese didn't want to confuse players with 2 birds and 1 dog-like beast, so it was replaced with Moltres. And still, it is one of the best Pokemon you can use at a stat total of 555. So, thank you for that one. Despite its species being legendary, it is not considered legendary. This is likely due to evolving from Growlithe, and legendary Pokemon have never had evolutions. Arcanine's base stat are the highest of any Pokemon that has ever evolved once. Arcanine's prototype name was actually Blaze. Yes, just Blaze. The Yellow Pokédex. It states that Arcanine is seen in China, showing there are similarities in regions with the world and Pokemon World. And sometime on Pokemon.com, I'll show you that anyway. A Pokemon in China. Many Pokemon are charmed by its grace and beauty while running. I did have time for that. Look at that. It's overtime. See you guys next time.